Welcome back. And now let's bring the conversation down here to Nigeria. The River State Governor, Nyesom Wike, has said plans by some powerful individuals attempting to break his rank and create disunity will fail. The governor maintained that the People's Democratic Party governors working with him were only demanding that the right things should be done in the party and agreement reached should also be respected.
Governor Wike spoke on Monday when he inaugurated the Okezuo-Abia flyover along the Aba-Enugu Expressway in Osisioma Ngwa local government area and the rehabilitated Aba-Owerri Road in Aba South local government area of Abia State. This was contained in a statement issued by the media aide to the governor, Kelvin Ebiri, and sent to newsmen in Port Harcourt. The statement read, and I quote, "When I read on the pages of newspapers, they say some people are making attempts to break my rank. I say to myself that they don't understand the modus operandi of what we're doing." Quote close. Joining us now this morning is political analyst Demola Olaruwaju to speak more on all of this. Good morning, Demola. Thank you for joining us.
Demola, good morning. It's my pleasure to be with you.
Again, I mean, we've had this conversation over and over again about Nyesom Wike. You've heard his comments about, I mean, these are fresh ones, about people trying to break his rank. What do you make of this?
Oh, well, I think it's a political crisis, so to speak, or it's a political conflict. It's a conflict of ambition, it's a conflict of aspiration. The ranks, you wonder, there are different groups within the PDP, and the governor's group is one of them. And so when he makes that kind of statement, I think it's a statement where he's trying to ensure that his political demands are met. He's trying to ensure that what he's asking for, the PDP gives into it. And but of course, other groups will also try to walk around him. We'll also try to negotiate with the governors individually and ensure that everybody is on board in the final days before campaign starts. We have about 2 to 3 weeks before campaign starts. So I think, that's what he was alluding to when he says that nobody can break his ranks. But of course, it's politics, and the interests all have to be aggregated. And at the right time, I suspect that, the entire party will come together and do what is necessary ahead of victory in 2023.
Well, when you say do what is necessary, we're going to get to that. But on a lighter note, wouldn't the PDP love to have Governor Wike's band along with them on the campaign?
well, I'm sure the live band is something that excites a number of people. But Absolutely. I've also seen people who say that it's a form of praise singing. That's the literal definition of going around with a band of praise singers. So I'm not sure how Nigerians will view it at the end of the day. Of course, at this point, it's exciting because he's not the candidate of the party, so people feel, oh yes, there's a live band going around with him. But I've also heard people describe it as praise singing, and at the end of the day, that might, create a wrong kind of impression about the PDP if it is officialized, as you say.
Well, we'll see how it goes. It will just be interesting to see it on a national stage, during the campaign. But let's now talk about some other things. You said, it's important that the party fixes whatever is wrong and rights whatever wrongs need to be, set right, just so that they can win the elections. Is there a fear that they may not be able to mend fences with Governor Wike, and the party stands a risk of going into the elections not being on the same page with Governor Nyesom Wike?
Well, I think that's always a possibility. There's always that possibility in politics that not everybody will align along the same goals. The good thing also is that in politics, it's often option A and option B. And, because of the unique terrain or the unique politics that plays in some of these states, I think that at the end of the day, there will be an interplay. So, for instance, if Governor Nyesom Wike decides to to go in line with the APC politics, I'm not sure how he's going to do that anyway, because all the candidates of the PDP at the state level in Rivers State are all allies of Governor Nyesom Wike, from the governor to the House of Reps to the Senate, and they are all People's Party platform. Now, if he still decides to go ahead to work with another political party, then the chances of those people who are also running on the PDP platform become slimmer. Now, that will also create another interesting mix, because in Rivers State, you also have the immediate past Minister of Transportation, former Governor Rotimi Amechi. Rotimi Amechi is an APC member, and I'm sure he's also watching, with keen interest to see what the APC does. So if APC manages to reach an agreement with Governor Wike, I'm sure that Rotimi Amechi will also move in the opposite direction. And Rivers State, being a state that has been governed by PDP right from 1999 to date, if Rotimi Amechi is able to harness the strength of PDP in that state, then I see PDP still being able to hold on to that state. So it's a question of options. If Governor Nyesom Wike decides to go in the opposite direction, then other political players who are on the other side may also decide to take over the role that he is going to leave empty. So I think it will just be more straightforward if everyone remains where they are. Rotimi Amechi works for the APC, Governor Wike works for his own PDP, also all in the interest of the candidates that he also handpicked in that particular state. So I think at the end of the day, political alignments and realignments will occur, and as soon as campaigns commence, we will see where everybody falls. It might not be just as soon as campaign commences. It might be as far as election day, up till the night of elections. Alignments and realignments will continue to happen.
All right, we'll come to a conversation about the campaigns, but Nyesom Wike, the governor of Rivers State, had said that the People's Democratic Party governors who are working with him are of the view that they should make things right and that agreements kept should be reached. Do you, by any chance, have an idea what these right things he made mention of in his statement are, and what agreements he's hoping that they would keep?
Well, I think much of it is it has to do with personal aspirations. It has to do with the politics of it within the People's Democratic Party. And for me, there are three separate interests that should be aggregated here, as I alluded to earlier on. One is the interest of the individuals as politicians. Two is the interest of their political party, the People's Democratic Party. And three is the interest of the Nigerian masses. If the Nigerian masses are looking up to the PDP as a party that they want to support, or as a party that they want to use to replace the APC at the center, then the PDP owes it a responsibility to those people also to rally around whom the party has fielded and work for that person. But with regards to what he said specifically, I think that has to do more with the individual position of the governors who are with him. There are about 5 governors with him. 4 out of those governors are not returning as governors. They are not running for a second term. They are at the end of their second term. And what that means is that they are perhaps trying to negotiate for a space in the political firmament after the election. So I think that's what he's alluding to in terms of agreements should be agreements. Because, look, we know that over the past few years, it has been these governors who have determined the space of events within the PDP. They have been the ones who have chosen, they nominated those who became the NWC members. And so if they are saying that, agreements should be agreements, we should ask that, what are these agreements? Are they in the interest of Nigerians, or ordinary Nigerians who just want to be voters? Or are they in the interest of you as politicians? If it's in the interest of you as politicians, then we know to downplay it, basically, because much as the politics is important, the aspirations of the masses of Nigeria is also quite paramount. And if they're looking up to PDP, which people are already saying that, this is a party that has not lived up to its billing as the biggest opposition to the APC over the past couple of years. Now, if you are still not able to put your house together, towards the elections, I think it's not a good look at all. So those interests should be aggregated. Is it in the interest of the common man? Is it in the interest of the political party? Or is it in the interest of you as governors whose tenures will end on May 29, 2023, and who are possibly looking for accommodation in what might be the next government. So I think these are things that should be aggregated, and I think that, the demands that they are making, if we examine it closely, it has more to do with their interest, their individual interest as politicians, not the interest of the party, and perhaps not the interest of the generality of the masses of Nigerians.
All right, Demola, the campaigns will be starting on the 28th of September. I think this might arguably be one of Nigeria's most, tense elections and that are coming up in 2023. How do you, what would you expect to happen immediately campaigns start? And of course, because I've read, a couple of your tweets, and I kind of have an idea, what your emotions are with regards to the 2023 general elections. What would you want the campaign season to be like across all parties?
I would want us to focus on issues. I would want it to be a strict focus on issues. This campaign has the tendency, to quickly become an ethnic-driven campaign. It has the tendency to become driven by ethnic sentiment. And that's not in our interest as Nigerians, because at the end of the day, the problems that face us regardless of our ethnicity. The problems that we confront as daily as Nigerians, it doesn't care whether you're from Benue, it doesn't care whether you're from Lagos State or whether you're from Osun State. So I would want there to be a strict focus on the issues of the economy, on the issues of security, on the issues of our unity as a country, on the issues of education. You have the ASU strike. I would love to see the aspirants, the candidates, on ending ASU strike. I would like to see the aspirants talk about how education will be funded. I would like to see the aspirants talk about the security situation. I'd like to see them talk about the economy. I think those are my desires, okay? But the reality, it's increasingly becoming more of an ethnic election where you have the likes of Kwakwanso and Atiku Abubakar from the north, where you have Peter Obi from the southeast, where you have Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the southwest. And increasingly, there's this tendency or there's this belief that people will vote along those ethnic lines rather than vote along the issues, or rather than vote on the issues being brought forward by the candidates. So for me as a person, that's what I want to see. I want to see an issues-based election, but I fear very strongly that the 2023 election will be more of an ethnic driven conversation rather than an issues-based policy discourse. We'll continue to try, we'll continue to try and ensure that the issues are what is being put forward by the different candidates. But again, because, Nigeria is what it is and politicians are who they are, I think the primordial ethnic sentiment will be what might underscore the 2023 elections, and that will not be a good look for Nigeria, and will ensure that the outcome of it, doesn't necessarily give us the best, but just give us, somebody who's out to protect the interest of ethnicity. And that's a sad commentary, about the 2023 election. But of course, we continue to hope that, it will be an issues-driven election.
You've actually mirrored my final thoughts. We can only hope for the best, and we certainly would. We thank you for joining us this morning. We'd love to have you again as we proceed with conversations about politics in Nigeria. Thank you, Demola Olarewaju, for your time.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is always mine.